We choose Jamaica because we believe in Andrew Holness as leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. We choose Jamaica because Andrew Holness has been one of the finest, greatest modern-day leader that the Caribbean have seen. And it is our responsibility to ensure that his legacy continues. Let's welcome, loaded for a third term.
Jah give me everything, so me nah lose my sanity for vanity, no frightened for anything.
So them
can't use longer to catch me whenever you hear me sing. I'm from me yard to the top of the chart, and that's why we hail the king. Cause Jah give me everything.
No for them do anything for money, anything for hype, anything for...
Hold it, selector, hold it, hold it, hold it. I want you to understand that when I touch the stage, I get an immediate burst of energy from the people. You know why that is? Because you make me stronger.
You make me stronger. You make me stronger.
And that strength that you give me, that is what carries me through the difficult times, please, the hard times, the trying times, because this job is not an easy job. This job, it might look like a glamorous job, but this job is about being strong and active for you. And I tell you this, the people of Portmore, that I continue to be your strong and active leader. And you can see the strength of the Jamaica Labour Party. And you can see that for the first time in the history of Jamaica, the first time, you have a government going to face the people, and we can campaign on our achievements. To my friends here gathered in front of the stage, and to those delegates and workers of the party sitting quietly and listening to every word that is uttered, I want to say to you that I am thankful and grateful for your continued support. I want to say to you that all that we have achieved as a political party, it's because of you. Governments will have plans. Ministers will try to implement. But it is you that put the fire under the MP, that put the fire under the minister, It is you, the supporters of the party, who have been our greatest critic, that has kept us on our feet to ensure that when we come to face you for an election, we don't come to you with promises, we come to you with achievements.
Family, yeah, I know that. I mean, say family. Sure. If I want thing, me hate a friend killer. No.
They don't understand labor rights, you know. The labor rights love the party, but they're not fanatics. They want to see and hear what the party is doing. And if the party isn't doing what they want, they make noise. And I know that that is the political organization that I have. So I don't need an opposition to hold me to account. My political organization hold me and my ministers and MPs to account. And this political party, we put forward mechanisms where our people get to exercise not just their voice, but also their vote in ensuring that the party in which they believe in, that party delivers the achievements and the benefits. So you have a vested interest in making sure that this party is successful. So when you come to these meetings, I never take it for granted that when we draw a big tune and we say something exciting and you say, shower, I never take it for granted that you leave here fulfilled or convinced with gimmicks. Because I know that the labor right is a thinking Jamaican. I know that the labor right analyze what we say. I know that the labor rights don't just come here for shower. The labor rights listen to everything that is said. And you go back to your community and you reason it and you analyze it. And that is why the lies of the PNP can never change a labor right. The lies of the PNP can never affect the mood of the Jamaica Labour Party. The lies of the PNP can never overcome the truth of the Jamaica Labour Party. Hold on, selector. Hold on, man. The lies of the PNP. I had the opportunity to overhear a TikTok live. Just by accident, somebody beside me was on TikTok and they scroll and I hear the PNP live. And when I hear the amount of lies where the PNP never tell, I said, God help us. Because I know it's not going to affect any labor rights. But it will affect those persons who don't know. PNP will believe their own lies because they are living in a delusion. But the danger is when they start to tell the lies to people who don't know. So I hear one of the liars them say, them a talk about the dollar stable. The dollar not stable at all. And me I say, but hold on now. This period between 2016 and now, has been the most stable that the Jamaican dollar has ever been. We have seen the least depreciation in the value of the dollar. But this little liar on the live, spewing falsehood. And the real problem we have, the real threat to our democracy, is ignorance. The real threat to our democracy is ignorance in our population. People don't know. The other real threat is bad mind. And when you put ignorance and bad mind together, you have a real problem. But as I said, the middle of Jamaica, the thinking Jamaicans, they see through the lies and they see through the bad mind. I want to give you a very quick example. You know, John F. Kennedy, a former great president of the United States, he is widely attributed to have said, "I dream of things that are not," and say, "Why not?" And others see things as they are and leave it. I came into politics to change things, to improve things, to make your life better in real ways. That's why I come into politics. So when I look at my Jamaica, a country that had lovely parks, lovely botanical gardens, and then for many years of neglect, those parks and those gardens deteriorated to nothing. One of the dreams that I had, which I then turned into a vision, which I then had the opportunity to allocate budgets to, is to make sure that every parish in Jamaica has a park. Not a park that you have to lock up and mad people take it over and all kind of foolishness happening in the park. A park where you can go and walk, go eat ice cream and sit down on the grass, go watch performance in the park, go do a little jogging. You can have recreation in the park. A whole heap of the lifestyle diseases that we have is because we don't have any plan, is that every parish must have a park. We built one in St. James and we call it the Harmony Park. The PMP then promised to build a park here. For how long? I come and I am building the park now. It's called the Resilience Park in Portmore. I find some way that we can now build a park in the center of the island in Manchester. We're building a park in Manchester. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why an elected representative, somebody who is supposed to be representing the best interest of the people of the area that elected him, come and say, him no want no park. I have never heard a more backward kind of thinking than this.
So bad mind I go create. I envious it as a man them. Tell them to free up them conscience.
But as I said, when you put ignorance and bad mind together, very dangerous, because they don't want the Jamaica Labour Party to have the political credit. He would rather deprive the people of their park for political power for themselves. What kind of leadership is that? They don't choose you. They don't choose Jamaica. They choose themselves. They are only about power for themselves.
Tell bad mind, people say
Hold on, the selector. Me not rely upon music for rile up crowd in a boss. Me will tell you when. Watch me now. Watch me now. The history of the PNP and power would be analogous to you ever ride your bicycle or you drive a car and you see a dog just run out of the yard and run after the car, and when the car stops, the dog just stop and look on it. The history of the PNP and power, their power-seeking behavior, is like a dog chasing a car, and when they catch the car, they don't know what to do with it. But that is not the only thing that is in the interest of the people that the PNP has sought to oppose and block. This community was started in the 1960s. There is a false view that it is the PNP who started Portmore. Another one of the many lies. Lie. Another attempt at the revisionism of the PNP, trying to revise history. It was a vision of the Jamaica Labour Party and Edward Seaga to create Portmore. And its origins then were simple. It was to create a housing estate, a housing scheme. And then it grew into several housing estates. And it became a dormitory community between the 1980s and the 1990s. And that community became an adjunct, meaning it was joined to Kingston because the people would live here and work in Kingston. That is why the Causeway Bridge, you remember the Causeway Bridge, was so critical to connect Portmore to Kingston. And as Portmore evolved, even the very PNP realized that Portmore needed its own local governance. That you could not depend wholly and solely on the St. Catherine municipal government to administer the unique and peculiar administrative needs of Portmore. And instead of going the full way, which it was their intention, they created a municipality, which is not quite clear because some parts of Portmore can vote for the mayor and they fall in another municipality. But the reason why they created the municipality is because Portmore started to evolve into its own community, with its own economy. So instead of most people going to work in Kingston, you have a lot of people now who work and live and retire in Portmore. Now we have a plan for Portmore. And I want all of you here who live in Portmore to understand this, because you need to appreciate why you are voting for the Jamaica Labour Party, and you need to be able to go back to your neighbors and tell them why they should vote for the Jamaica Labour Party. And our plan starts, first of all, with improving your infrastructure. Already, we have started with the Brayton Parkway. We're going to be fixing up the Helsha Road. But most important, you need a new entrance into Portmore, and that is already being planned. We have over 30 acres of land in Nago Head, and we are going to create the most modern tech park in Portmore at Nago Heads, and the Factories Corporation has already started the plans for that. When that is done, no idle boy and no idle girl going left in a Portmore. Believe me when I tell you. You already know that we have started the Bernard Lodge project, where 15,000 houses are going to be built. And I have news for you that between the UDC and the HAJ, another 3,000 houses are going to be built in Portmore. Houses for people who are our mechanics, our hairdressers, our factory supervisors, houses that you, the people, can afford. I already tell you about the park. We have reserved lands to build a hospital for Portmore. The only thing left now is for Portmore to take its rightful place with all these new investments and development as a parish. Let me say something about Portmore. The last official statistics say that there are about 200,000 persons in Portmore. 200,000. I took note of Andrew Wheatley's more generous statistic that there are almost 300,000. I am inclined to agree that it probably is a little bit more than 200,000 and just maybe under 300,000. But whatever it is, Portmore would be larger than the parish of St. Thomas, the parish of Hanover. It would be larger than St. Mary and Portland. No, hold on. Portmore would be larger than St. Lucia, Antigua, maybe a little bit larger than, no, maybe not, Grenada. The point I'm making to you is that Portmore is now taking its rightful place. Portmore would be the first it needs to have full control over its approval processes. It needs to have full and it needs to have full control over the direction of its development. What Jamaica suffers from is the ignorance and bad mind and power-hungry people. So here is what happens. They don't want the Jamaica Labour Party to be the one to define Portmore as a parish, because somehow they feel that that will hurt them politically. Not that it will hurt them by taking away PDs from the constituency they now hold. That is one concern they have. But the real concern is that it would be the Jamaica Labour Party that has created the 15th parish and established that for the rest of history, that the generations to come would remember that it is the Jamaica Labour Party that established this booming metropolis of Portmore. And they don't want that. They don't want that. So even if it is in your interest, what the power-hungry PNP will do is use their bad mind mentality and play upon the ignorance of people. And they will use every instrument available to them to put an obstacle in your own progress because it doesn't match their political agenda. And that is why, Labourites, we must never sit back idly and comfortably when the PNP is on a mission for their own self-aggrandizement. We must be vocal. We must be loud. We must be militant against those who will use bad mind to influence ignorance against the interests of the people. So we are proposing something, not just an academic change, but real change in putting in investment and infrastructure, and they are blocking it. In whose interest are they seeking power? I give you another example. Coming up to our 60th year of independence, a lot of the older leaders who retired started to talk about repatriating our sovereignty, and that Jamaica should move forthwith to become a republic. An idea that I am sympathetic to. And being the Prime Minister at the time, it falls to me to put those things in motion to make Jamaica a republic. Never forget, the leader of the opposition stood up in Parliament and he said, I support it. Yes, I believe we should move ahead forthwith because the support is on our side as well for Jamaica to become a republic. And I said, well, I have to take him at his word and put in place a process to move Jamaica towards becoming a republic. Only to hear, after a long period of review and study and a report was prepared, only to hear that they changed their mind. They no longer want it. Now they say that they are going to tie it to the removal of the Privy Council. when that was never a part of the discussion. And we were very clear that these matters have to move in a process. You can't take what the PNP say, because they only act in their convenience. So the dream of many Jamaicans of our country becoming a republic has been dashed at the altar of PNP selfishness. Primarily because they don't want the Jamaica Labour Party to be credited with making Jamaica the republic. They don't want that. Because they know that we would go down in the annals of history as a party that repatriated our sovereignty. They don't want that. So something that is in your interest, because it doesn't suit their interests, they don't do it. So that brings me now to ask you, who really wants change in the country? Who really wants to see change for the better in this country? And who is the party that is bringing change to Jamaica? Who is the party that is tangibly, really changing the landscape of Jamaica? Which political organization is changing Jamaica for the better? Think about it, my thinking Labourites and my thinking Jamaicans. Who is really making the changes in Jamaica? So yes, my Labourites, and yes, my Jamaicans, this election is about who will continue to change Jamaica for the better. Who will continue to build out the highways? Who will continue to build out the hospitals? Who will continue to build out the schools? Who will continue to build out the logistics hub? Who will continue to buy the new buses? Who will continue to buy the new garbage trucks? Who will continue to give the largest salary increases to public sector workers? Who will continue to build the houses? Who will continue to change Jamaica for the better? We're moving like a movie, watch me.
Jump up in a jacuzzi, Ashley. Get on you just a move to the cash way.
Move is that way. We're moving like a movie, watch me. See glory run.
We're living like a movie, watch me. Jump up in a jacuzzi, Ashley. Get on you just a move to the cash way. I'm one who is slow me down.
Me want to know who is slow me down. So my Labourites, this election is about who can really change things and who will continue to change versus those who oppose change for the better. The objective of politics is to take power away from people who prevent good things from happening and give it to people who can make good things happen. You have a choice to make. The people of Jamaica, the thinking people of Jamaica, not those who have a hereditary bias. Hold on here, my friend. Hold on here, my friend. The choice you have is to ensure that the people who can really change Jamaica get your vote. Not the people who come with promises. And I want to close my presentation with you because, please, I want to close my presentation with you. I see a flyer circulating on social media. And a young lady sent it to me to say, Prime Minister, I see the PNP circulating something that they're going to give every young person $500,000 on a deposit for a house. Now, this is a university student. And I was pleasantly surprised because she said, Prime Minister, when I saw it first, it grabbed me. But when my friends and I started to actually examine the number, we realized that they are selling us a horse and telling us the horse can fly. She said the $1 billion taken from the NHT sound enough. So enough. But because we don't know what category of young people they are talking, well, young people could start from 18 to 39, and you would be looking at more than 150,000 people possibly in that category. She said to me, well, if you divide the billion by 500,000, the most you will be able to give is about 2,000 people. And then she asked the question, which 2,000 people go and get it? How are you going to distribute it? That sounds like friend and company business. Exactly. That sounds like there was no real thought put into it. So it will catch some people who want to be told a lie, who want a horse that can fly. But for the thinking Jamaicans who take up them calculator upon them phone and work it out, bad mind and ignorance can't hold them people in. The real problem is the lack of enough houses on the market to keep the price stable, particularly in the low income and affordable housing range. And so any solution that you're going to bring to the table to deal with the issue of housing must surround how you're going to increase the supply of housing. Because any solution that you bring that increases the demand for housing without at the same time increasing the supply of housing is going to cause the demand for housing to increase and therefore the price to increase. So if all of a sudden 2,000 more people have $500,000 more and they go after the same 1,000 house, they are able to bid higher for the same 1,000 house and therefore the price go up. I know there are many Jamaicans hopeful, and so anybody come to them with snake oil and tell them, say, horses can't fly, here, this horse can fly, they grab it and believe it. Those are the people, bad mind, will manipulate their ignorance. But you know that the Jamaica Labour Party does not play up on ignorance. We are the party that seeks to educate the people, give them the information, tell them the truth. Sometimes the truth hurt, Sometimes the truth is an offense. But God see I know me not sin upon the people of Jamaica. Me not trick the people of Jamaica. Me not go tell them lie to get them vote. Because ultimately, I trust the people of Jamaica. And more than that, I respect the people of Jamaica. And I have confidence in the people of Jamaica that they will choose Jamaica. So me want to know who to stop with. We're moving like a movie, watch me. Say glory run.
You wanna know who fi stop me? And we living like a movie, watch me. Jump up in a jacuzzi, Ashley. Get on you just a move to the cash way. And we wanna know who fi slow me down. Watch glory run. Them think we
Labor rights, let's have a great big round of applause for party leader and Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Michael Holness.